first we're going to be talking about measurement, specifically money. But before we start, what comes to your mind when you hear the word money? Some things that you think it might mean, or different things you can use it for. Sam?
I just think of like coins and taking different coins to make different amounts of change.
Anything else that comes to mind? The word money?
Shopping.
Shopping, okay.
Any ideas what you think money might mean?
Value.
Currency.
Currency.
Okay, let's find out. So what is money? Basically, it's anything of value that can be used as an exchange process. So if I want to buy a shirt, I have to give them something in exchange for it. And over the last 10,000 years, money and the form that it comes in has changed drastically. So although today we have like the currency that we know, bills and coins, it wasn't always like that in the past.
This is just a picture of the different forms that it's taken, but we're going to get more into it. So the first form of money was from 9,000 to 6,000 BC from cattle. Cows, sheep, camels, and other livestock were the first and oldest form of money. And as agriculture became more prominent, grain and other vegetables began to be used as a means of money as well.
So these particular items, cattle and vegetables, were extremely valuable at the time, and they also were somewhat rare. So people would almost trade them in exchange, and that was their form of currency.
So cowrie shells were actually the first form of money shape that took place in China. They were used as money, and as recently as the middle of the century, they were used in some parts of Africa too. So you can't really tell from the picture, but if you look at these shells, you can actually see like the form of a penny, and it's the most widely and longest used currency in history too.
Okay, and then in 1000 BC, we saw the first metal money, which is interesting because it's not exactly what we have today, but the metal started to come into existence. And they were first used in China. And they had holes in the center of them because some people would keep them on strings or necklaces as a means of carrying them, almost like a prehistoric wallet. And
it's also considered, the first form of money. They were made out of base metals with the holes, which Amanda just said were used as necklaces instead of their wallets.
And then in 500 BC, we saw coins, but they were more modern. And they were actually developed outside of China, which is interesting because until this point, most money was developed in China.
And if you're able to look at some of these pictures, you're able to tell that some of the first forms of money had various gods and emperors to mark their authenticity. So in some of these, it says these are early coins that first appeared in Lydia, and that represents some present-day parts of Turkey, from the different coins from Turkey. And unlike Chinese coins, which depended on base metals, these new coins were made from precious metals such as silver, bronze, and gold.
And it's interesting that they have these stampings because it's almost relatable to the presents that we see on our modern coins today.
So now we relate back to our paper currency in 806, and this was the first known paper banknotes that appeared in China, as you can tell from these pictures. And China experienced over 500 years of early paper money spanning from the 9th through the 15th century.
And in 1455, this paper currency actually disappeared. And it wasn't until much later in history that we saw paper notes coming throughout Europe and other places all over the world. And then, obviously, today we have the dollar bills that look like this, notes, and in the future, I'm sure there'll be many more developments, and they'll continue to change throughout history.
So why is it important to teach money? Money management is obviously a very critical life skill, and they say that it's important for elementary school students to be learning about money so that they can use it for a sense of responsibility. So they start with their allowances. When they start as early as bringing money to school for lunch, learning their change and everything else that goes along with how they spend it. They must know how to manage it, and it's a good tool to help children with counting too, with their coins and their dollar bills.
And it creates a very positive attitude towards money. Many people think that at a young age, kids don't really need to know about it, it doesn't affect them, but it really does, and it's something that will affect them for the rest of their lives. I mean, everybody at some point will be in contact with money and have to use it.
this is just a little video that we found that we think would be a good introduction almost, or just something to reinforce and refresh the students' minds about how money works and the different coins and the amounts that they have along with the dollar bills.
And it's fun, so it should like kind of catch the attention of your students.
Definitely engages them.